The gun was 3 inches from the child's head. Officer Karen Mills could see it through her binoculars from 200 feet away on the south end of the Kingston Bridge. The barrel pressed against the temple of a 7-year-old boy named Marcus Webb. His mother sat frozen in the driver's seat. 2 other passengers, a teenage girl and an elderly man, were crammed in the back of the 1992 Honda Accord. It was 11:23 a.m. on August 14, 1995. 50 police officers had the bridge completely surrounded. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. The man holding the gun was Vincent Cole, a 34-year-old with 6 prior felonies and absolutely nothing left to lose. He had been in that car for 47 minutes. The standoff would last another 9 hours. What none of the officers knew yet was that Vincent Cole wasn't supposed to be in that car at all. The real target was someone completely different. And by the time they figured it out, 2 of the hostages would be fighting for their lives and the entire situation would spiral into something nobody saw coming. The bridge was closed, traffic backed up for miles in both directions. News helicopters circled overhead. The phone in the car rang again. Vincent picked it up and said 5 words that made every cop's blood run cold. Subscribe now and leave in the comments. What city are you watching from? Catherine Webb woke up that morning with one goal: get her son Marcus to his pediatrician appointment by noon. She was a 32-year-old single mother who worked double shifts at Riverside General Hospital as a registered nurse. Marcus had been running a fever for 3 days. The appointment was important. She called her father, Robert Webb, a 71-year-old retired postal worker who lived 6 blocks away. He agreed to come along to help watch Marcus in the waiting room. Catherine's niece, 16-year-old Jennifer Cole, was visiting from Ohio for the summer. Jennifer asked if she could tag along for the ride. Catherine said yes. They all piled into Catherine's Honda at 10:15 a.m. The medical center was in downtown Kingston across the river. The fastest route was the Kingston Bridge, a 2-mile span that connected the east and west sides of the city. Traffic was light that Monday morning. Catherine merged onto the bridge at 10:38 a.m. She was in the right lane, doing 50 miles per hour, windows down, radio playing soft rock. Marcus was buckled in the passenger seat, clutching his favorite toy truck. Robert and Jennifer sat in the back, talking about her plans for college. Nobody noticed the man walking along the pedestrian pathway on the east side of the bridge. His name was Vincent Cole, Jennifer's uncle. Catherine's brother-in-law from a marriage that had ended badly 7 years prior. Vincent had been released from Shelby County Correctional 3 months earlier after serving 4 years for armed robbery. He was supposed to be living in a halfway house on the north side. He was supposed to be attending mandatory counseling sessions. He was supposed to be meeting with his parole officer twice a week. He had done none of those things. Instead, Vincent had been staying in abandoned buildings, stealing to survive, watching his ex-wife's family from a distance, consumed by paranoia and rage over circumstances he blamed everyone else for. That morning, he had walked onto the bridge with a loaded .38 caliber revolver tucked into his waistband and a plan that made sense only to him. Catherine saw him at the last second. He stepped off the pedestrian path directly into traffic. She slammed on the brakes. The Honda skidded and stopped 15 feet from Vincent. He walked up to the driver's side door. Catherine recognized him immediately. Before she could react, Vincent yanked the door open, pointed the gun at her face, and climbed into the back seat, shoving Robert and Jennifer against the door. Marcus started crying. Vincent told Catherine to drive to the center of the bridge and stop. His voice was calm. Too calm. She did what he said. At 10:41 a.m., the Honda came to a complete stop in the right lane, roughly 1 mile from either end of the bridge. Vincent ordered everyone to stay quiet. He told Catherine to turn off the engine. He kept the gun pointed at the back of her head. A passing motorist saw what was happening and called 911 from a gas station payphone 3 minutes later. The call reached Kingston Police Department at 10:46 a.m. Patrol units were dispatched immediately. By 10:52 a.m., 6 police cars had arrived at both ends of the bridge. Officers established a perimeter. Traffic was diverted. The bridge was officially closed. Captain Richard Hayes arrived at 11 a.m. He was a 23-year veteran of the department. head of the crisis negotiation team, a man who had talked down 11 hostage situations without a single fatality. He set up a command post on the south end. He tried calling the car phone Catherine had in her vehicle. There was no answer. Vincent had ripped the cord out of the socket. At 11:12 a.m., a tactical unit brought a mobile phone to the bridge. An officer walked halfway across, left the phone on the pavement, and retreated. Hayes used a megaphone to tell Vincent the phone was there. Vincent made Catherine get out of the car, walk 50 feet, retrieve the phone, and bring it back. She was shaking so badly she could barely hold it. When she got back in the car, Vincent grabbed the phone and threw it on the floor. He told Catherine he would decide when they talked. 50 officers now surrounded the bridge. SWAT teams were in position on rooftops overlooking the span. News vans began arriving at 11:18 a.m. Helicopters from 3 local stations hovered above. The phone finally rang at 11:23 a.m. Vincent picked up. Hayes identified himself and asked if everyone in the car was okay. Vincent said they were fine for now. Hayes asked what Vincent wanted. Vincent said he wanted his daughter back. Jennifer went pale. She had not seen her father since she was 9 years old. After Vincent went to prison, Jennifer's mother had moved to Ohio and remarried. Jennifer had legally changed her last name to match her stepfather's. She had built a new life. Vincent was not part of it. Now he was claiming he had rights. He told Hayes that his ex-wife had poisoned Jennifer against him. He said the system had stolen 4 years of his life over a crime he insisted he did not commit. He said all he wanted was a chance to talk to his daughter without interference. Hayes listened carefully. He asked if Vincent would be willing to release the child first as a sign of good faith. Vincent laughed. He said Marcus was his insurance policy. Hayes tried a different approach. He asked what it would take for Vincent to let everyone go. Vincent was quiet for 18 seconds. Then he said he wanted a car, a full tank of gas, and $50,000 in cash. He wanted Jennifer to come with him voluntarily. He wanted a 6-hour head start before police pursued. Hayes knew none of that was going to happen. But he also knew his job was to keep Vincent talking and buy time. He told Vincent they would need time to arrange those things. Vincent said he would give them until 5 p.m. That was 5 hours and 37 minutes away. Hayes asked if he could send food and water to the car. Vincent said no. The line went dead. Inside the Honda, the temperature was climbing. It was 89 degrees outside. With the windows barely cracked and 5 people crammed inside, the heat was suffocating. Marcus was crying quietly. Catherine tried to comfort him, but Vincent told her to shut the kid up, or he would do it himself. Robert, the elderly man in the back, had a heart condition. He was on medication that he had left at home. His chest was starting to hurt. Jennifer sat frozen, staring at the man she barely recognized as her father. Vincent kept talking to her in a low voice. He told her how much he missed her. He told her he had been wrongly accused. He told her that her mother had lied to her for years. Jennifer said nothing. She could smell alcohol on his breath. She could see the instability in his eyes. At 12:15 p.m., Hayes called back. He told Vincent that arranging $50,000 would take time. He asked if there was anything else Vincent needed while they worked on it. Vincent said he wanted to see his ex-wife. He wanted her brought to the bridge so she could hear the truth about what she had done to him. Hayes said he would see what he could do. He hung up and immediately sent officers to locate Vincent's ex-wife in Ohio. They reached her by 1:30 p.m. Her name was Laura Morrison now. She told police she wanted nothing to do with Vincent. She said he was dangerous and unstable. She refused to come to Kingston. Hayes understood. He called Vincent back at 1:45 p.m. and lied. He said they were working on bringing Laura, but it would take several hours because she was out of state. Vincent accepted this. He seemed calmer. He asked if the money was ready. Hayes said they were pulling it together from multiple banks. Vincent said that was fine. He would wait. But if anyone tried anything, he would start shooting. He made it clear Marcus would be first. The call ended. Behind the scenes, Hayes and his team were formulating a plan. SWAT Commander Dale Ferguson had snipers in position on 3 different buildings. They had a clear line of sight to the car, but the angle was wrong. Vincent was sitting low in the back seat with the gun constantly moving between hostages. Any shot was a risk. Ferguson suggested a tactical approach. If they could create a distraction, a team could approach from the blind spot on the passenger side and breach the vehicle. Hayes rejected this. Too dangerous with a child inside. The FBI field office in Richmond was notified at 2 p.m. Special Agent Monica Vasquez arrived at 2:37 p.m. She had extensive experience with barricade situations. She reviewed the setup and agreed with Hayes. The best option was to wait Vincent out. Fatigue and heat would eventually wear him down. The question was whether the hostages could last that long. Inside the car, Robert's condition was worsening. His face was pale. He was sweating heavily. Catherine, who was a nurse, recognized the signs of cardiac distress. She told Vincent her father needed his medication or he could have a heart attack. Vincent did not care. He said the old man should have thought about that before getting in the car. Catherine begged. She said Robert could die. Vincent pointed the gun at her and told her to stop talking. At 3:11 p.m., Robert slumped forward. Jennifer screamed. Catherine turned around and saw her father's eyes rolling back. She told Vincent her father was having a heart attack and if he did not get help immediately, he would die. Vincent stared at Robert for a long moment. Then he picked up the phone and called Hayes. He said one of the hostages was sick and needed medical attention. Hayes asked if he could send paramedics. Vincent said no, but he would release the old man if Hayes guaranteed no tricks. Hayes agreed. Vincent told Catherine to help her father out of the car and walk him slowly toward the south end of the bridge. If anyone approached them, he would shoot Jennifer and Marcus. Catherine got out, opened the back door, and helped Robert to his feet. He could barely walk. She supported his weight as they moved step by step away from the Honda. 50 officers watched in silence. Paramedics were staged 200 feet away. When Catherine and Robert reached the safe zone, medics rushed forward. They loaded Robert onto a stretcher and took him to an ambulance. Catherine tried to run back toward the car, but officers stopped her. She fought them, screaming that her son was still in there. Hayes pulled her aside. He told her the best thing she could do for Marcus was give him information about Vincent. What was his mental state? Did he have a history of violence? Was he on drugs? Catherine told Hayes everything she knew. Vincent had struggled with alcohol and anger issues throughout his marriage. He had been physically abusive to Laura. He had been arrested multiple times for assault before the armed robbery conviction. He blamed everyone else for his problems. He had never taken responsibility for anything. Hayes absorbed this and thanked her. He told her they would get Marcus out safely. Catherine did not believe him. She sat on the back of an ambulance and sobbed. At 3:45 p.m., Vincent called Hayes again. He said he had done them a favor by letting the old man go. Now he wanted something in return. Hayes asked what. Vincent said he wanted proof they were really getting the money and that Laura was really coming. Hayes said he could provide bank transfer documents for the money within the hour. As for Laura, he admitted she was refusing to come. Vincent exploded. He screamed into the phone that Hayes had lied to him. He said everyone always lied to him. He said if Laura would not come willingly, then Jennifer would have to be enough. He was taking her and leaving, and nobody was going to stop him. Hayes tried to de-escalate. He said they could still work something out. Vincent said the new deadline was 6 p.m. If a car with a full tank of gas and $50,000 was not delivered to the bridge by then, he would kill the boy and then himself. The line went dead. Hayes looked at Agent Vasquez. She looked back at him with an expression that said the situation had just shifted into a completely different category. They now had 2 hours and 15 minutes to either give a dangerous felon everything he wanted or find another way to end this without a child dying. Ferguson, the SWAT commander, approached Hayes and said his team was ready. One word and they would move. Hayes said not yet, but he told Ferguson to prepare for a green light. At 4:17 p.m., something happened that nobody expected. Jennifer opened the passenger side door and got out of the car. Officers froze. Vincent yelled at her to get back inside. She ignored him. She walked slowly around the front of the Honda and stood facing the back window where Vincent sat. She started talking to him through the glass. Her voice was calm. She told him she remembered him. She told him she knew he was sick and needed help. She told him that hurting Marcus would not bring back the years he lost. She told him that if he really loved her, he would let Marcus go and turn himself in. Vincent stared at her. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Vincent lowered the gun. He opened the back door. He stepped out of the car. Marcus was still inside, frozen in fear. Vincent looked at Jennifer. He looked at the 50 officers aiming weapons at him. He looked at the helicopters above. Then he raised the gun toward his own head. Hayes grabbed the megaphone and shouted for Vincent to stop. Snipers had their fingers on triggers. Vincent stood there for 5 seconds that felt like 5 hours. Then he dropped the gun on the pavement and fell to his knees. SWAT officers rushed forward. They tackled Vincent, cuffed him, and dragged him away. Other officers ran to the Honda and pulled Marcus out. The boy was dehydrated and terrified, but physically unharmed. Jennifer collapsed. Paramedics reached her within seconds. The standoff was over. It was 4:23 p.m., 9 hours and 42 minutes after it began. Vincent Cole was taken into custody and charged with 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of aggravated assault, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and terroristic threats. He was held without bail. His trial took place 4 months later. He was convicted on all counts and sentenced to 35 years in state prison with no possibility of parole for 20 years. Marcus Webb recovered physically, but struggled with nightmares for years afterward. Catherine quit her job at the hospital and moved to another state to give her son a fresh start. Robert Webb survived the heart attack, but his health never fully recovered. He passed away 2 years later. Jennifer Cole returned to Ohio and finished high school. She went to college, became a social worker, and dedicated her life to helping children in crisis. She never spoke to her father again. Captain Richard Hayes retired from the Kingston Police Department in 2003. He later said the bridge standoff was the closest he ever came to losing a hostage. Agent Monica Vasquez called it one of the most volatile situations she had ever worked. The Kingston Bridge was reopened at 6 p.m. that evening. Traffic resumed. The news coverage faded. But for the 4 people who had been trapped in that Honda, August 14, 1995, would remain the longest day of their lives. Subscribe now and leave in the comments, what city are you watching from?